everybody. This your girl CC with WIB Magazine, and I got my co-host on the line, Mickey Monday. How are you today?
Doing pretty good, CC. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. But tell us who we got on the line with us today.
Okay. We have the one and only Nucci Reyo on the line with us. Nucci, can you tell us where you're from and give us a little bit of backstory as to how you got to where you are today?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. First of all, so as you stated, I'm Nucci Reyo. I'm from Jersey, born and raised. I'm from Broadway, and pretty much just always been passionate about the music business. And so I got my first deal with Don Pooh with MCA Records back in 2000. And from that relationship, being that he was involved with the original Uptown Records, Uptown MCA and Puff Daddy, Mark Pitts, that whole Howard crew, he was able to parlay me in to begin to write for Puff Daddy and other people who were on MCA Records at the time, like Shaggy, was label mates for Mary J. Blige, Common, different individuals. So once MCA Records became Geffen bought him out. I had the option to stay or leave. I decided to leave and just kind of master P it, because a lot of what was pushing me forward in the culture I was doing on my own. The label wasn't even doing it. So I've pretty much been independent ever since. And around that time, Double XL did an article about me called Do It Like Me, because they was trying to understand the formula of how I was able to continue moving forward without a major. Because, you know, back then, talking like 2005, 2006, if you wasn't on a major, you wasn't really making no waves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to be able to stay afloat, you know, it was just an intriguing journey to them. So, you know, I stayed independent, and, you know, here we are today.
Awesome. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Most
So
definitely.
how was the transition from going from hip hop to your Kingdom artist place? How was that transition?
It was interesting because obviously financially there's a big difference. You know what I mean? When you establish yourself in, you know, what we consider secular music and just that world and amongst those people, you start becoming just a household name, and the income is flowing a certain way. You're getting shows, you're getting features, you're getting production gigs a certain way. And then when you switch, now it's like starting from the ground up. You know what I mean? 'Cause now you gotta, those people in this other part of the subculture gotta get acclimated with you and decide if they, you know what I mean, really rocking with you or not, or will or won't accept you or feel you, etc. So it was a big adjustment financially, but besides that, just the fulfillment of doing the kind of music you're supposed to be doing, there's nothing like it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So how was the experience with your project you did with Jim Jones?
Yeah. I mean, it was smooth because basically, just to give you a little bit of background, it's like this idea that I was raised, I want to almost say like in the church, but like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because like my mother was a devout Christian, my father wasn't, right? So it's like this balance where almost like you're going to church, but then afterwards you're coming home to a house where it's just music blasting. It's almost like a party. You know what I mean? So it's this balance, right? And a lot of people relate. And once I found out that Jim Jones was a person who related to that and who comes from that same background, upbringing wise, I said this would be cool for me to connect with him, because a lot of the people that also come from that and can relate to us on that level listen to his music. You know what I'm saying? And people like him. So I'm like, let me connect with individuals who have the audience that I'm going for. You know what I mean? Which is cats that was like raised in a certain way, but then lost their way.
Gotcha.
You know, so that's the focus. So, I mean, it was a smooth process. His management is cool. He was cool. He was definitely with it. Once I told them the concept of what I was trying to do, they fully behind it. You know what I mean? And, you know, it touches people's heart in a place that other collaborations just don't, you know, because this goes back to the root of who they really are and the type of music that's thought-provoking. You know what I mean? And it makes them say, yeah, man, that is where I started. And I have fallen or drifted or, you know, wandered far from the path that I was on originally, and that God might have had me on, and that, you know, the vision God has just for your family as a whole. Because if this is who your grandmother, your mother, your father are, people that's taking you to church and etc., you know what I mean, then it's obviously that there's a certain vision for that family, for that lineage, you know what I mean? And when you get involved in music or the streets or both, you can just get, you know, enticed and dragged away. And before you realize it, you forget where you came from. You know what I mean? So this project really serves as a reminder of where we all come from. You know what I'm saying? Even whether you part of certain gangs and people part of another gang, you realize this was before that. You see what I'm saying? Whether you the hottest kingpin in the hood, or you this tough guy, the jailbird, or whatever you are, this was before all of that. You know what I mean? So, you know, we take this back to childhood. And a lot of the songs we use, like flipping some of the old spirituals and stuff like that, the old Psalms and stuff, it touches people in a place that other music just doesn't, you know?
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Excuse me. So just out of curiosity, because you mentioned earlier, you know, a lot of people that you work with in Uptown Records, they were a part of the Howard crew. And someone that I've seen kind of just going through some of your, you know, some of your publications that have written up about you, was Eric Roberson. And, you know, I know he was also in Howard too. So did you go to Howard, or you just happened to, okay. Because I was gonna say,
funny.
Yeah.
I didn't go to Howard, but them Howard cats is everywhere in the music business, right? And
right.
I just found myself as like the only one part of the crew. They're older than me too. You know what I mean? But I never hung with artists. I was a cat who hung with executives, because the artist wasn't living how I wanted to live, right? So I was like, I'm not hanging with y'all. I'm hanging with these guys over here. And it just so happened to be like Don Poole, Mark Pitts, E. Nicks, Antoine Marchand, just all these different individuals who they all met in Howard. They was from New York. Puff Daddy all met in Howard. And I was like, I was way younger than them, and just the only one who never went to Howard. So I've been asked that question a couple of times, and I'm like, nah, I never went there. But yeah. And then Eric, the thing with Eric is we from the same hood. He from around my way. You know what I mean? Same city. Another cat that's older than me or whatever. He might be 7, 8 years older than me, but you know, he was always doing his thing and making waves in music. We was hearing about him when we was young. And so it was just a pleasure and an honor to finally be able to collaborate with him. But that's how that collab came about. Cat named Malik, that's from his hood. We from the same city. He from a different hood. But Malik, you know, is like this like mayor type cat who just goes around plugging people together. And he kind of linked us up, you know what I mean, to be able to do that collaboration.
Awesome.
But I do wish I went to Howard, though. If I had it to do all over again, I might have went to college.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm from the city, so Howard, you know, that's right down, you know, not too far from where I'm from. So
yeah,
that'd have been a good look, especially back then.
Oh yeah. That's one heck of a class, right?
For sure.
Wow.
It's crazy. But just kind of going back into your catalog, like I mentioned before, for those who are watching and who are getting to know you or getting to meet you for the first time, what's a song that you can direct them to so they can get the full, the full Nucci experience?
I would say off the new project, I would say really the intro, you know. So my new EP, This Far by Faith, the intro is really just this fullness of what I do. Because not only did I produce it, and then I bring, you know, Jim Jones in to do the intro of it, but then I tell a story. It's almost like a parable. It's just a story that kind of encompasses hip hop, the street, the gospel, all in one, all in, you know, like 16 bars, and it just brings it all together. You see what I'm saying? And that's kind of who I am, is a type of person who could just get to the point. You know what I'm saying, with the music. And if you could tell a story in 16 bars, Like that's the era I come up listening to. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like I'm listening to Slick Rick, I'm listening to Rakim, and I'm like, man, like
Yes, sir.
you see what I'm saying? Like Sheesh, or like you know, Will Smith Summertime, or you know, they reminisce over you with CL Smooth. It's like they told such a story. So that's what I want to, you know, focus on a lot with my music, is telling a story. That's what good movies are, right? It's a story that people will watch hundreds of times. And, you know, I want my music to be that, like a movie that you watch with your ears. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that was gonna be my next question. Like, what was the motivation behind that? So you just answered my question right
Yeah,
then and
word
there.
it up. That's what's up.
Definitely.
So tell us about this new streaming service, right? Because, you know, being more so of like a secular musician or artist, you know, there's certain things that's just not on my radar personally. But for an artist like you, who, you know, who have stepped into the realm of, you know, gospel music, and there's supposed to be a new streaming service available where, you know, you can find a lot of content that's geared towards that genre. So can you tell us a little bit more about Godify and how you were able to, you know, have
Yeah.
that connection?
Well, the focus was this, like when I started making that transition, right, I realized there was no dedicated streaming services
Okay.
that you would not be able to get directly to the content without combing through content that you might not want to see or hear. And so, you know, just being a businessman and a visionary in that way, I'm like, you know what? I could create my own streaming service. You know what I mean? And then it was a long time coming, but eventually it was just like, you know what? It's just time to do this. You know, so that you got people who don't want their kids having to comb through a bunch of naked women in order to hear music, or, you know, hear podcasts or see videos. You know what I'm saying? You got grown men, that's adults, that don't want to see it, right? You got women that don't want to see it and hear all the negativity and the drug references, which are now even on the album covers. You know what I mean? So we were solving a big problem with that. And I was like, let's launch something so that we have our own. You know, it's too much sharing and relying on kingdom platforms, you know, to get kingdom messages out. And that's cool too, to invade those territories, but we also need our own, you know. So so that was my focus. So it's every type of Christian music, from Christian rap to country Christian music, you know, every genre of Christian music all in one place. And that's another thing too. You might tap in and discover something you would have never listened to. You know what I'm saying? And that was the other thing, is that it was too much separatism. The streaming services that exist are dedicated usually to one genre of gospel. So it just shows more separatism in the kingdom, which I don't think represents it well. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to create something that kind of brought it all together. And so we launched Godify December of 2019. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary, and it's doing pretty good. And Godify is going to be free for Christmas. So everybody, the whole month of December, you could download Godify out your app store for free.
Okay. Thanks for the Christmas gift.
No doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
That's wonderful.
So tell us, what's the next big move for you?
Yo, the next big move is you know, taking Godify to the world globally in a way that it's never been done before. My mind is focused on, for Christmas and Easter, to do like a global event, right? Just imagine an event real time for everybody around the globe, that type of Christian event. And then, you know, I have another EP in the works that's just, it's coming out. It's just coming out crazy, you know, and I'm gonna just keep hitting them in that direction where it's like, you know, whoever I feel like has the audience I'm trying to reach with my message, I'm collabing with that individual. So I got a Heat Makers, which did a lot of the Dipset music and kind of created that real New York gritty sampling boom bap sound. Me and them doing a whole project together. And that's a lot of people's favorite record off this project, is Overflow, which was produced by Arsonist of Heat Makers. And so it got such a great reception. We said, let's do a whole project together. So that's going to be big, and that's coming soon. we might even drop that by Black Friday, but we'll see. But y'all will be one of the first to know. But that project's going to have a lot of riveting messages on it, too.
Okay. And I'm going to hold you to that. When you say we're going to be the
No
first
doubt.
to know, I'm
No
going to
doubt.
hold you to that.
No doubt. Look, I show love. I show
love.
love. I got no problem, you know, giving the exclusive to the people who show me love. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Right.
That's a
Dig it.
fact.
So in a time that you were, you know, on this shaky path, right? Because you were in a play not too long ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, and up until that point, you know, you were still kind of, you know, leading the life that you lived before you got saved, right?
Yeah.
So once you made that transition and, you know, you became more in tune with your faith, I mean, how much of a positive influence has it been on your life? Like, do you start to notice things are opening up for you, or like you starting to see things that you never really saw as clearly as before, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a complete transition, and then it's a different type of respect and honor too, you know, when that's what you're doing, because it's affecting people's lives, you know what I'm saying, in a positive way. And just honestly, you know, having been on certain tours and done certain things, like I toured with Nas on the Stillmatic tour, Busta Rhymes tour, I opened up the Carter One tour for Lil Wayne. You're affecting people's lives then too, but it's negatively. You know what I mean? So to be affecting people's lives positively is way more fulfilling, you know, and it just helps with your transformation, which is a process anyway, right? It's a journey, you know what I mean? But yeah, you're made new, and then you're going on this journey. So hearing the testimonies is such a, you know, it has such an impact on you. You almost feel the same impact that you had on them when they tell you the testimony, you know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I like to go to the fun side sometimes, because it's always business. So what do you like to do on your free time?
That's a good question. I watch Shark Tank marathons, and things of that nature. You know what's so interesting about music is that it could be your work and your play.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's nothing more fun to me than like completing songs and completing projects and coming up with new concepts, right? So even when it's never felt like work to me, because it's what I would be doing for free. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, it's what I do in my free time too. I should probably find some non-music related hobbies.
Okay.
I've actually tried, but I'm terrible at golf. I used to be okay at sports. I don't want to hear anything from the peanut gallery. There's people in here that might be hating, but I was actually on an undefeated football team. So maybe it's true. It's true. Maybe I'll get back into some sports. You know, shoot some hoops or something.
Okay.
But probably by myself. I'm not trying to get out here with these young boys and get embarrassed. You know what I mean? But for the most part, you know, it's just all music all the time for me.
That's true. But what's one fun fact about yourself? What is something that people don't know about you that you like doing?
Something people don't know or might be surprised that I like doing?
Yes.
I don't know. Actually. Going to no, my mother's here. She said going to the casino. She dead wrong. But I think that is a place people will be shocked to see me, especially since there's such negative connotations toward gambling. But yeah, you know, I think I'm a pretty cut and dry individual. You know what I mean? Who you know, I've been able to do, you know, my passion for a living. So, you know, that focus really around the clock, you know. And unless you like music and stuff, people might think I'm boring. You know what I mean? People might come around and be like, "This is all you do?" Like, you know, it's not anything else to you. And you know, you just made me think about it, but it's really not. You know what I'm saying? I'm music, business, and ministry, things of that nature, just around the clock. You know.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny you said that because that was one of my questions. But since you don't have a hobby, I mean, shoot, you see what else I can go with here. Let's see.
Terrible.
So,
I need to come up with one. I do. I've had this question a couple times recently, and I'm like, man, I gotta find one. You know,
And it's right up under your nose, and you don't even know. It could be like painting. You know, you might working out. You know,
yeah.
hiking.
Painting might work. Working out needs to happen. Painting might work. I feel like this has kind of turned into like a great therapy session.
As long as I can help, I'm good with it. I'm good with it.
I got some canvas around here, so I think I might try to. Now I'm gonna show y'all my first painting. I don't want to hear no laughing. We might be able to auction that thing off.
Oh yeah,
Never
you can do
that,
that.
never that. We don't judge on this thing. We don't judge. In fact, we're making real creative for you. Be like, dang, y'all see how dope you gotta look past that part, you know? That's how I see vision.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was gonna say, you know, we on the East Coast, so you know how cold it get. You know what I'm saying? It's cold now, so you have to find a hobby sooner or later when with this virus out.
A hobby. Yeah, that's a fact.
But just to kind of pick your brain a little bit more, and you know, because you've been in the industry for quite some time, I'm just curious to see who else you would want to collaborate with, whether it's, you know, gospel, hip hop, or you know, R&B, whatever genre you feel.
Yeah,
you know.
definitely want to collaborate with Styles P.
Okay.
I want to collaborate with Pusha T. I want to maybe J. Cole. I want to collaborate with cats that people think got bars, right? Because I'm like, okay, let's spar a little bit. You know,
okay.
I want to, you know, I'm always with getting in the lab with like elite MCs. You know what I'm saying? So I know that through that song on my radar. Fat Joe, I think that's an underrated legend that I would like to collaborate with. Then on the producer side, I got to do something with Timbaland. Definitely.
Those are all heavy hitters.
Yeah, those are my. Yeah, I think that'll be ill. Premiere too. I would like to do.
Oh yeah.
But, you know what I mean? I think that will come out as a perfect record.
Okay.
Word up.
Yeah, that would be tough to hear Premiere.
Yeah.
To hear you on a Premiere beat would be tough.
Word up. With scratching, I think it'll be ill. You know, especially now everything is crap, everything sounds the same. I think it'll be a real refreshing record. I'm trying to make that happen now.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha. But behind the scenes, what has been one of your biggest challenges?
One of the biggest challenges is getting people to understand my direction and my methods. You know what I'm saying? Where it is non-traditional. I'm not trying to, you know, collaborate with Fred Hammond, with Kirk Franklin, so much so as far as music is concerned. Not trying to just perform at churches and community centers, but I'm trying to take this message that I have, you know, into the hood. And it's been challenging getting people, you know, to partner with it and understand what I'm trying to do, because people are so traditional, so religious, they're so dogmatic, they don't really understand it. So the challenge is walking alone. You know what I'm saying? You know you're going to do it anyway. You're going to go forward, right? But so I think one of the biggest challenges has been that a lot of it I've had to do alone, you know, as far as just it's not easy to get the labels to see what I'm trying to do. It's not easy to even get a lot of promotion squads, you know, to see what I'm trying to do. They look and they're like, you know, we don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like they might hear a record and say, hey, look, we don't play this kind of stuff. I'm like, it goes right along with what you do play. It hits just as hard. You know what I'm saying? So just getting people to understand, you know, that it's a message that goes across the board and willing to do it alone. You know, anything that you're that passionate about, you know, you got to be that willing. You know, one of my first shows when I was like 15, they usually shows at the Apollo in the Victoria 5 Theater in Harlem. I was in a group at the time called the People Under the Stairs. And it was time for the day of the show. None of them showed up, right?
Oh, wow.
And my father was like, well, then you got to go. Like, you already registered. If you're not willing to do this alone, then maybe you don't really want to do it. You know what I mean? And I was willing to do it alone. I did do it alone. That prepared me for where I'm at today. You know, where I got to just make a lot of these moves with, you know, sometimes I make moves and 3-4 people like will drop off the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you want that? And I'm like, nah, I know what I'm here to do. You know what I mean? So I always think that's pretty much my biggest challenge, you know, getting other people to see the vision.
That's some motivation though, right there.
100%.
Definitely. Thanks for the gems. I take that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Word up.
So what's one thing that you see in the music industry, albeit whether it's, you know, independent, indie, or, you know, on the record label side, that you would like to see change?
One thing I would like to see change is the types of record deals that are given out. There's room for it to be more fair. There's room for you to give more publishing. There's room for you to share the master. There's room for you to give a bigger royalty share to the artist. There's room to make them just as rich as you make them famous. You know, so I would like those conversations about wealth building, you know what I mean? Rather than just almost like pillaging the artist as like a natural resource. You know what I'm saying? It's like you go into a land, you take the gold. What does the gold get out of it? Becoming a necklace. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at the end of the day, what are these artists really getting out of it but fame? For all these years, fame has been the main offering. And I would like to see more offered, you know, in the forms of education and just wealth building. And I would like to see labels care about you as an individual. You know, they really don't. You know, once you ain't selling or ain't doing the numbers you're supposed to do, you know, it tosses you out like an old computer. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would like to see executives who are passionate about music get ushered back into it. A lot of people running the labels now is just marketing students. They're just specialists. They're just experts on marketing or whatever, rather than passionate about music. You know, there's some record labels where you could go up there and hear no music playing.
Wow.
So I would like to see the passion. Overall, I say all that to say this. I would like to see the passion come back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
You like that laid back, humble, you know, be laid back with it. Look, I just want to see the passion. You know, like that old legendary style.
Definitely. Word out. I think that's what drove it for so long. And anytime it slows down, it's because the passion is missing, you know?
Definitely.
Got to bring that back. Word up.
But we talked about your challenges. Tell us one of your biggest accomplishments you had.
All throughout, I think my biggest accomplishment to date is launching Godify. You know, you're talking about a monster, you know, going up against Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, and the rest of them, you know, without half the staff, without half the funding that they have. I think it's been challenging, but, you know, I think that's been one of my biggest accomplishments to date. You know, it's because it does so much. It shows ownership, entrepreneurship, you know what I mean? Black business, and just being able to climb mountains, you know? So I think that's at the top of it right now.
Okay. Well, Mickey Monday, you have any other questions before we go into trivia?
Yeah, I'm just curious because I mean, this is one of the questions I normally ask, but I want to hear your answer to it. What was like the first album that you got?
Purchased?
Period. Yeah, like just period. What's the first album that you got that you
probably
received?
LL Cool J, either Can't Live Without My Radio or Walk with a Panther.
Okay.
Sound like 1988, something like that. Yeah, had to be. You know, big influential joint. Just, you know, when hip hop was really crossing over and taking it to that next level, you know. And L was definitely one of my earliest influences. So I think it was I Can't Live Without My Radio. And I had a radio at the time, so I was only like 10 years old, but I had a radio, and I just walk around blasting that cassette. You know, I can remember it like it was yesterday. But yeah, that was my first purchase.
Okay.
Dope. Definitely a classic.
Mm-hmm. Back then. But we got 2 trivia questions for you.
Uh-oh.
They usually easy. They easy. Okay, so mine is what when you was a kid, what did you want to be when you wanted to grow up?
Originally, I wanted to be a fireman.
Okay. Now the second part of that is if you could actually be a fireman today, would you switch roles?
No way. I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm not running in no fires. I thought that the uniform was cool, the truck is cool, you know, but nah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you.
Excuse me. Yeah, so my trivia question, it's probably gonna make you think a little bit, but what's the craziest thing on your bucket list that you want to knock off?
I want to go to, I want to record in a castle. Want to like the oldest castle. Want to like set up a studio and like do a whole project like that, like the man styles or something like that. You know what I mean? Just see what I could come up with in that type of atmosphere. You know what I mean? Just with that ambience and everything. I think the material will be real dope. But that's definitely on that list. But who knows when we'll be able to travel like that, right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be some time. Definitely
I
gonna be some
wasn't
time
expecting
between.
you to say that, but you definitely love music.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
So are you recording in the castle just for the aesthetic of the castle, or are you recording in the castle for like the acoustics and stuff? Because you know sometimes castles they have like them thick walls.
Yeah, both. I think all of it, and just that royal vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like have that royal vibe where it's almost like the music is like, what if King David was a rapper back then? You know what I'm saying? When he was young, you know, like I just want to catch that vibe. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure it's gonna sound a certain way because of those acoustics. And my favorite mic is the Neumann U87. I just know that combination with that, you know, because you got stone walls and
right.
You know what I mean, marble floors, and then I know it would sound different. You know what I mean? Like, okay, where was this guy at? You know what I'm saying? And I think it would create a good story.
That plays off the King's Kid too, so you could definitely use that.
Exactly. Now you hear it. Now you feel the vibe.
Yeah, I'm locked in.
That's something that I gotta do that eventually. You know?
Okay.
What's up?
But before we get off, can you tell everybody where they can follow you?
Yes, sir. You could follow me at Nucci Reyo on everywhere. It's NUCCI _REYO, and also at ILoveTheKingsKid.com.
Okay. Well, I want to say thanks for interviewing with us. Congrats on your journey. I'm wishing you the best. Stay on your grind. I love what you're doing, and I love the humble person back there. And definitely find your passion.
Much appreciated. Thank y'all for having me. And whenever exclusives drop, I'll make sure y'all got them.
Definitely. And Mickey Monday, you had something to say?
Yeah, man, I just want to, thank you again. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations on your continued success. You know what I mean? Like Cece said, you're a very humble cat. And, that's the kind of people I vibe with because I'm also on the same frequency. So much power to you, bro.
Thank y'all for having me.
For sure.
Well, you'll be in the next issue also. So that'll be completed by the end of the week. So you'll be able to see that and tag you and everything else. So thanks for being a part of that also.
Okay, thank you. So send it over to me. We're cross-promote and everything.
Definitely.
All right, appreciate
it. Be blessed. Okay. Happy Tuesday.
Thank you, you too.
Absolutely.
Boy, what you know? Rufus boy, let me love boy, what you know? Rufus boy, let me love boy, what you know? Rufus boy, let me love. Caught up in my tape. Caught up in my tape. Don't care what you said.